Hello my friends, and welcome back to another Brotato Danger 5 Paws and Claws run. Hope you're all doing well. Today we're playing the Baby, which is a character that I know a lot of people really struggle with. I think it's one of the most deceptively difficult characters in the game, because you don't notice until you're playing it just how much you rely on the free stats from leveling up. Now, the easiest way to win with the Baby is just to buy only sticks and just get lots and lots of damage from sticks. But I think that this is part of what makes this character deceptively difficult, is that that's kind of a boring run, and a lot of people's attention wanders and they check out and die more easily when they're playing a more boring run. So I'm going to show you a fun but still very powerful strategy for winning with the Baby. With 24 weapons, we can use all of, if we have 6 each of 4 different types of weapons, we can have up to 8 weapon categories. So for example, we could have primitive and medieval from quarterstaffs and then 6 more weapon categories, similar to the vagabond, and get all of these free stats. So this character can get a ton of bonus stats by doing that. That's what we're going to do today, and I will indeed start with the quarterstaff. Not only does this give us extra levels, so we'll unlock more weapon slots faster, it comes with 2 of the most important defensive weapon categories. Primitive and medieval are really good for this character because the main thing that you're missing when you're playing the Baby is defensive stats. Those will typically come from your levels, so picking them up from your weapon can be really, really nice. We're going to go ahead and buy another quarterstaff here. Unfortunately, because of the slow attack speed of this weapon, I was just short of leveling up and getting an extra weapon slot, but we'll probably get 2 next wave. Cute Monkey and Beanie I'm going to leave in the pool. These are both useful items for us. We do want to ban level 1 items on this character. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second, but these are both ones that we can leave. The reason we want to ban level 1 items is because Scar is such an incredible item for us. We need to level up faster. And there's also a bunch of really strong level 1 economy items to go with our item discount, so we're going to try to pick those up quickly. I'll take a turret as well. This can help us in the early game when we might not have a full set of weapons available, so we're going to take this turret for 14 materials. Small fish I'm just going to ban. This item is somewhat inefficient, so I just want to remove it from the pool, and then I'm going to roll, lock another Scar and a quarterstaff. We're also unlikely to be building engineering, so we'll buy a pencil, or we'll ban that pencil. On the Baby, of course, we want to buy items in the early game. Most characters are going to buy weapons, but since this character only has 1 weapon slot, we want to spend our money early on and pick up some additional economy. In this case, we got a Scar and a couple other good things. We're looking for defensive stats, and of course, we're going to be looking to lock more quarterstaffs. I'm going to get to 6 of these, and then we'll start thinking about what our next weapon that we're going to add in is, once we have a more powerful weapon set online. I'll ban the book here. Again, we're probably not building that much engineering, even though we have the turret. That's just for getting a couple extra kills in the early game. I could buy the Scar here, and then if I reroll, I should still be able to buy a quarterstaff, I think. And yes, indeed we can. So that still lets me get to 3 here. Ratzilla, I think, is actually not bad for this character. We can pick it up in the early game as well. Similar to the turret, this will help us even when we're behind on weapons, and then I'll re-roll, and I'm looking for another quarterstaff. You usually want to strive to lock a staff, or whatever weapon you're buying, every wave, because you need to be able to fill your weapon slots as soon as you unlock them. That's the main advantage of this character, so you want to make sure that you're taking advantage of that. I'll let the Gobbler pick up a couple, like 1 material there, the one that the turret grabbed, because it just kind of brought it back to the center and made it easier for us to pick that up. But I didn't want to let it level up. I didn't trust that we had the damage to take care of it. We'll buy the weapon slot here. I'm going to ban both of these items. We currently don't have anything that uses Sharp Bullet, so let's just go ahead and ban both of these. I'll take the rat, and then we'll re-roll. Lootworm is kind of interesting as well. I can pick that up. It does mean that I wouldn't be able to buy a quarterstaff, though, so I'm going to lock the Lootworm here. Kind of want the mushroom as well. Let's lock both of those. We're guaranteed to see one weapon every reroll, so we should see another quarterstaff. And we did. And then let's roll it and see if we can lock another one. And this is perfect. We get to lock a bunch of items for the next round. You want to re-roll a lot when you're playing the baby because the item discount is most impactful in the early game when you can use it to get strong economy items or good weapon sets and things like that early on. Later on, it's going to be less powerful. So you need to make sure that you get off to a really strong start with this character. I'm going to kill the Curse Alien. On weaker characters, like the baby, sometimes you might not want to kill the Curse Aliens. I don't think we're going to have the damage to kill the second one. But on this run, we should be strong enough that we can get away with it. We'll then buy these items. I guess I will just reroll and we'll look to lock another quarterstaff. Wow, a level 3 is an amazing find here. And then duct tape and baby gecko I'm pretty happy with as well. With the lootworm, the baby gecko works out really well because that's going to pull the materials to the lootworm, making it much more likely that we get the 10% material bonus. So this is going pretty well. We're going to need to think about what our second weapon is going to be because we'll have filled out our 6 weapons here. Also, I could try to leave materials on the ground for the lootworm. It's more important that I just pick up a bunch of materials. So I'm going to let the lootworm get what's easy for it to get, but we don't want to leave too many on the ground from wave to wave. So we're going to focus on picking up materials. Oh, there's a bunch down there that I didn't see. Yeah, we'll take the weapon slot here, and then we'll buy a quarterstaff, and we'll buy both of these. Jousting Lance doesn't give us a new weapon tag, so I'm going to roll past that. I'll take a Lemonade for sure, and we'll buy quarterstaff and propeller hat. Quarterstaff also only crits for 1.5x, so I think I'm just going to use my last ban on the insanity here. It's an item that would be okay to have in the pool. It's not like one that we would never buy under any circumstance, but it's more useful to try to get powerful items like more scars, more trees, coupons, bags, that kind of thing. Consumable heal. There's so many very powerful level 1 items for this character that we really want to focus on making sure that those appear more often in the early game. Our turret and our rat are still contributing to killing things, which is kind of nice. We're just getting a little bit of extra clear speed off of those. 2 more weapon slots is great. So we'll buy the quarterstaff here. We'll buy the propeller hat. We do have the medieval weapon tag, and we're fairly likely to build unarmed at some point. So I could start building dodge now by buying the feather. I don't think we need to do that right away, though, and we don't have a use for the ranged damage. We'll save buying dodge until we know for sure that we're going to pick that up. Sharp Tooth does give 2 weapon tags, but it's not amazing for us because it duplicates primitive. And gun, I would take. The 50 range is fine for this character, so I would take it if it came with a second one, but we're really looking for weapons that have 2 weapon categories so that we can maximize our free stats. I'll definitely take the coil. We have 0 knockback, so this is only 5% damage now, but it makes future knockback better. And then we'll buy another scar. Padding is a fairly inefficient way to buy max HP, so I'm going to roll past it. Ethereal is interesting, so that could be a lot of dodge if I wanted to go with that. That is a weapon category that you can't get. You can't get a second. There's no weapons that are ethereal and another kind of weapon, other than Scythe, which is legendary. So we could buy this. It would mean that we wouldn't get anything other than ethereal, but if we get a bunch of it, it can give us 30 dodge, which is a lot of dodge. And then if we pick up unarmed, we could end up with a really powerful set of dodge items. So let's lock the Ghost Axe for now, and we'll think about whether we're going to buy it, but I'll probably pick it up. Also, if it does get some kills, a couple points of free damage here and there are not the end of the world either. One nice thing about Ghost Axe is I don't need to buy specifically Ghost Axes. We can buy axes and flints. either one of those will contribute to the ethereal weapon tag. So I definitely need some healing. Currently, we have none. And that, of course, is always going to be the challenge for the baby, because you usually get defensive stats and healing stats primarily from your levels. And since this character doesn't get those, you're going to be way behind on defensive stats in general. Which is why building items like the quarterstaff that can help us focus on that is pretty nice. Yeah, we'll take another scar. We'll pick up another weapon slot. Elemental and heavy from the flamethrower. So this is not the direction that I would have expected this run to go. The heavy weapon tag is pretty good. I could also take unarmed and support if I wanted to do 6 hands. That would mean I'd be giving up damage from those, but it is 2 really nice weapon categories. And it would push my harvesting over 20, which isn't bad on its own. This is a really interesting decision point for the run, so I probably only want one of these 3 weapons. None of them are ideal, but they're all directions that we could go and be pretty happy. I think I'm going to take the Ghost Axe and the Coil, and then we'll buy ethereal weapons here. Oh, heavy and gun on the Obliterator. That's exactly the type of thing that we're looking for, if we could get both of those. So I'll pick up the Obliterator, and if we find more, that's going to give us some free stats later down the line. And then we'll roll here, we'll buy a coffee. Attack speed, of course, is something we really needed, so we're pretty happy there as well. So now I'm going to need armor, because I'm buying the ethereal weapons. Of course, you always need armor and abyssal terrors, but we'll need armor even more when you're buying ethereal weapons and reducing your armor. Obliterator, kind of nice, even if we're not scaling our ranged damage that much, too, because it is just really good at killing bosses. And elites and bosses are kind of a challenge for this build. We're low on defenses, and we're a melee character, which can make fighting elites pretty complex. Our rat does benefit from the bonus bonus health that we're getting from the primitive weapon tag, so that's nice. But our low harvesting is definitely a challenge right now. I'll take the leather vest for sure. We do need more defensive stats, and we'll buy another weapon slot. Primitive and heavy is fine, but let's just go ahead and buy the Obliterator. I'll take Boxing Glove because we have the Coil, so it's worth some knockback. And I'll buy Spicy Sauce as well, because my max HP is pretty low. We'll upgrade our Quarterstaff, buy a baby gecko. Since I've got these 2 geckos, we don't need the Alien Tongue. With geckos and a Lootworm, we should be fine. So now anything that gives me just a little bit of ranged damage goes a really long way, because Obliterator has such high ranged damage scaling. But what we're really hoping for mostly is just to get extra Obliterators, since they have 2 pretty useful weapon categories. Range on the baby is better than on other characters. Still not a massively high priority, but quite a bit better, because this character's weapons are very spread out. Obviously, you have more of them, so they spread further apart. And that means that you can sometimes end up in a situation where even though you have 20 weapons or so, half of them aren't attacking because they're on the wrong side of your character from the enemies, and so they can't do anything. So building a little bit of range can help mitigate that issue. Another coffee is great. We'll definitely take a fishhook here. We'll pick up 2 weapon slots. We'll buy the Quarterstaff, Gecko, and Spicy Sauce. I think we can get away with buying the Peacock, so I will. And then we'll take a coupon, and then everything else in this shop is pretty good as well. So we'll buy the Ghost Axe. I don't need to combine. We don't have another weapon here. Yeah, and so now we're on 3 ethereal weapons, so we have 12 dodge. And then we'll take another Scar, Small Magazine, and Quarterstaff. So Small Magazine and Feather are kind of nice because we now actually care about the ranged damage. So these items that are pretty close to being good enough, even if we didn't have the Obliterator, are suddenly much more interesting. Also, obviously, whenever I need to combine weapons, I'm going to combine quarterstaves, because we can do that and not lose a weapon category. Also, leveling those up is pretty efficient because it gives us more XP. Higher levels is nice because it's going to increase the damage of our quarterstaves, and the baby uses them pretty well because the baby is tagged to find XP gain items more frequently. So we're going to end up with decent levels, even though this character comes with an XP penalty by default. You end up with pretty decent levels on it because you're very likely to find a bunch of XP gain items. And if you prioritize buying them, which you don't have to on this character, but given that we're using quarterstaff, of course we're going to. If you prioritize buying them, then you'll offset the penalty and then end up with pretty good levels overall. Trying to kill that loot alien, and we did get it. Eye patch for 22, it's 3% crit chance. I guess I'll take it. The extra piercing doesn't matter at all, but 3% crit chance for 20 is fine. We definitely don't want the celery tea going into the boss wave, but we'll take Scar, we'll buy a quarterstaff and a small magazine, and then reroll. We'll take another ghost axe and a quarterstaff again. Oh, I should have combined my lower level quarterstaffs. I wasn't looking at how many weapons I had, so that was definitely a mistake. The medical weapon tag is kind of interesting. I might just buy the medical gun just because it's cursed. So let's go ahead and combine, and we'll pick that up. We'll lock the metal here. Black belt I will take as well, and then I'm going to reroll. And now, do I want to just combine again and buy another medical gun? I think so. So we're getting a little off of our plan, our previous plan of just going with six copies of 4 different weapons. But the way that we've set it up right now, we've got a little bit of range. We have the 2 medical weapons giving us a little regen, and the lifesteal from the medical guns, which is going to be really important, given that we don't have a great setup for fighting elites right now. Definitely want to get this elite to its second stage so that we can just remain motionless against it. In its first stage, it follows you. In the second stage, it's going to go here to the middle of the map, and you can just remain motionless, and it will never hit you. And as long as we do that, standing next to it, we should have enough weapons that we can kill everything else. We can kill or knock back everything else and kill the elite for free. So that was a lucky elite roll. That was by far the easiest one to fight for the setup that we have right now. But we put ourselves in a position to be able to deal with elites by buying the Obliterator, by picking up the medical guns, so we have a little more healing. So we're doing reasonably well, of course. I would have liked to find 1 HP item. Obviously, 38 HP feels a little bit spooky at this point in the game. Yeah, you can see why. We almost died there. 3 armor is pretty bad, but my percent damage is also really bad. Do I want the glass cannon? I think I kind of have to take it. And then I'll take the heavy bullets as well. 5 ranged damage works with some of our damage output. 6 melee damage for -3 ranged damage does hurt just our Obliterator, but I think I'm going to take it anyways. All of our other weapons are melee, so I do still want to boost those. We'll take the metal here, we'll buy the black belt, and grenade launcher. I'm going to take that as well. This is another heavy weapon, so we can kind of continue to get decent weapons and good weapon categories. I could buy the brick. We get a free reroll right away, and if it breaks, we make our money back. So let's just go ahead and pick that up. And then Cursed Vigilante Ring, I'm definitely buying. I'm going to roll again. We'll take a Ghost Axe and a Penguin here as well. Do I want the revolver for a weapon tag bonus? I don't think so. Let's just go to the next wave. So I'm going to try to attack with a brick as much as possible. It's going to be hard because it's shorter range than our other weapons. Oh, I guess our medical guns do scale with ranged damage, but you can see how much boosting our melee damage actually increased our ability to kill things. That and the glass cannon fixing our percent damage. So now, as always with this character, what we really need more than anything else is just HP. and armor and regeneration. Of course, with our fish hook, I want to be locking items as much as possible to try to get powerful cursed items. And we've ended up with quite a bit of curse in this run as well, so we should be seeing cursed items reasonably frequently. We'll recycle the energy bracelet here by a weapon slot. We'll take the cursed vigilante ring. A cursed ghost axe, very nice find. I'm gonna combine 2 quarterstaves and pick up the cursed scissors as well by a penguin here. Reroll. I'll lock the Vorpal Sword. If this gets cursed, it's really good. And Hedgehog gives us both of the damage types we need. So I'll definitely pick that up. Look at our weapon categories right now. We have 24 dodge from the Ethereal weapon tag. I definitely need more armor. I could pick up some blunt just by buying the spiky shield. I think I'll lock the garden and pass on the spiky shield. I'll roll here. We'll be going into wave 14, and increasing enemy speed is pretty bad. The banner also does not work with our coil. But if it gets cursed, it's still worth buying. So I think I'm going to lock all of these. And we might not end up buying any of them, but the ones that get cursed are going to be worth picking up. So better to do that and potentially get some really powerful cursed items. And if none of them get cursed off of our fish hook, then we will reevaluate which ones we want in the next wave, especially dependent on like what items we get in the next shop as well. Obviously, we're never going to buy the scarf if it's not cursed, because 25% extra speed on the elite is really dangerous. But if it is cursed, it'll decrease the speed bonus that the elite gets, and so we should be able to buy it fairly safely in that case. And the upside of getting it cursed and being able to buy it is really, really high. So we're very hopeful that that does happen. I have actually, surprisingly, managed to pick up a few points of percent damage from our ghost axes, which I really was not expecting. We'll pick up a weapon slot here. Okay, so not the items that we really wanted cursed, but I'll take both of these. We won't buy the scarf. Do I want the Vorpal Sword? It's not giving us any weapon categories because we already have medieval. And we don't have a blade. A 2% chance of one-shotting the elite is pretty low. It's a decent weapon just on its own, but I think we could do better. So I'm going to reroll here. Scissors, I already have one, and so that can give us a little bit more precise and medical. That's a pretty nice set of weapon tags to have, so I'll take that. Do I want the sharp tooth? Because it's a cursed weapon, and cursed weapons are obviously really good. I think I do want that. So let's combine our quarterstaves again. I currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quarterstaves. Oh, wait, did I... Oh, I cost myself the medieval and primitive tag. Okay, that was pretty bad. Wish I'd bought the Vorpal Sword, but I lost count of how many quarterstaves we have. Fortunately, we'll get the primitive tag back by buying the sharp bullet there, but that was definitely an error. Lock the small magazine and we'll roll. Sniper gun, kind of fun. We have some range as well, so let's lock that. Shredder, I could sell the brick. It's not really giving us anything, and that would give me a little bit of explosive and gun and be probably a more powerful weapon. So let's just do that for now. We'll probably end up selling the shredder later. Triangle of Power, if it gets cursed, gonna be great, of course. And I think, again, I'm gonna lock the harpoon gun. This scales incredibly well cursed, because both the ranged and melee damage scaling increase. So we're, again, going to hope that our fishhook puts in the work here. Play near our cursed garden as well, so we can heal back up. Wait for the elite to fire its set of 3 attacks, so we'll back off here. It's going to do its set of 3, and we'll come back and kill it. The cursed walrus did make that a little more dangerous, because I did take one big hit there, but we were able to back off from it. So I had intended for this to be a more, replicable and useful guide to winning with the baby. We just got such weird items, and I wanted to try this weird combination. More frequently, if you were going for this strategy, you would end up with something like 6 quarterstaves, 6 claws, and then a blunt weapon of some kind, that kind of thing, just to build up a bunch of defensive stat. But we've ended up with a much weirder and kind of more interesting build. So I could get a lot of regeneration. I would end up reducing my movement speed by a lot, but we would go up to 51 HP, minus 14 move speed, and that would be plus 28 regeneration. I actually think, given how bad our defenses are and the character we're playing, and the fact that we have some ranged weapons that can help us, that this is an Estes Couch run. These are not common, but Estes Couch can be pretty good if you get it in the right run, and I think this is the one. We'll take the cursed weapon, of course, and then... Do I want either of these right now? I think I'll just buy the small magazine, and then we'll reroll. We'll leave these locked for the moment. And I'll buy a rocket launcher, and maybe some of these get cursed. I'll lock the Alienize as well if that gets cursed. I'm pretty happy with that also. So now we're at minus 14 move speed, but we have a lot more regeneration. So I just need armor to be pretty survivable. Currently, of course, our armor is truly terrible because we have the ethereal weapon tag reducing it. The other nice thing is we have double baby gecko, we have a lootworm, so we don't need to run out of our way to kill trees or pick up materials that often, so reducing our movement speed is less of a penalty than it is for most characters. So yeah, I think this is an Estes Couch angle. This is an item that I think I've actually come around on a fair bit. I think it's better than I thought it was before. But I also think it is very much you have got to know what you're doing to buy this item. If you aren't experienced with the game, you are going to buy it in the wrong places, and it's going to ruin your run completely. Yeah, I'll take another Triangle of Power, fixing my armor, buying more % damage. That's great. Obviously not as good as the cursed one, but we're very happy to just increase our damage. We definitely don't want a non-cursed Alienize, but I think I will take the sniper gun. Increasing our range actually helps a lot. And then I could take a Ghost Scepter. We do actually have ranged damage, so let's lock this. I'll lock the Weird Ghost as well. Oh no, I'll be going into an Elite Wave. So even with 34 regen, I don't think I want to do that, although we do need more HP. Bottom mine. We've got a bunch of engineering, so a cursed bottom mine or even a normal bottom mine could be pretty good. So I'm going to lock that. Celery TA even cursed and bait even cursed. I'm not going to buy going into an Elite Wave again, so unfortunately we can't lock those. This is like the anti-Cephalopocalypse run. Buying range, having weird mismatched weapons, buying Estes Couch, reducing our armor and move speed. All the things that I strongly urge you not to do, we're doing in this run. Never built harvesting. And, I mean, one of the things that is so great about this game is you can end up in runs like this where strategies that are not your normal strategy are correct. And I think that that is just really fun. Yeah, I'll take the Ghost Scepter here just to get our dodge up to 60%. The bottom line is still pretty good, even not cursed, so I think I will pick it up. Lighthouse will work really well with that as well, and obviously we're going to lock the minigun. Let's see. I could combine some weapons. I could sell the Shredder, which isn't doing that much for us, to buy the scissors. Because the medical and precise weapon tags are really useful. So I think I am going to do that. We'll sell Shredder. It does cost me some range, but more important to get regen and crit chance. And we'll take the Lighthouse as well. And then go fight the next elite. This is definitely a challenging one to fight. So I'm going to back off from it a little bit. You can see here, this is why I say that range isn't bad on this character, because you can see the weapons that are on the wrong side of our character from the elite just weren't doing very much. They were often not able to attack. Minigun is going to boost the heavy weapon tag, which is really nice for extra % damage, and of course the gun weapon tag as well. If it gets cursed, even better. But Minigun alongside the Obliterator, oh, good that I got that dodge. I don't think we'd have died there. It was just a slash from a normal enemy, it wasn't cursed or anything, but I had already taken one hit, so it would have put me really, really low. And with only 54 HP, low armor, and low movement speed, I could still lose this run pretty easily. Let's see. So we've got 35 regen, 3 per second, and we've got consumable healing and everything. So yeah, we're just going to recycle this. We'll buy the weapon here. Sadly, the minigun did not get cursed, but I'll still pick it up. We'll buy a fish hook. Okay, nice. We can buy everything, get a free reroll. We'll lock a quarterstaff because I really do want to upgrade that. Buy the cake and the cog. This works with our coil. It works with our bottom mine. Do we have anything else that cares about engineering? Not really. But let's lock it anyways because we have double fish hook, so it's just good to lock items. Definitely want to not let the mini bosses spawn if possible. What a bizarre run. This one's really fun. I do like that our minigun works with the coil knockback, so it's pushing enemies away. Yeah, we'll take another weapon slot, and we'll buy the quarterstaff here, so that fixes our medieval weapon tag, right? So now we're back up to 6, and that should put us... Oh no, you don't get extra dodge, but it gives us an extra armor, which is even more important. I'm not going to buy the cog here. I'll just reroll another medical gun. So we could max out our medical and gun weapon tags. We currently... Is there anything I can sacrifice here easily? Not easily. So let's just lock this. I don't want the compass. I'll buy because we have Essie's couch. I'll buy a Shady Potion, and I'll roll here. I'll lock a Ghost Scepter, and our max HP is actually really low. With 40 regen, I think we can just buy the Weird Ghost here. And then I will reroll. I'll lock a Blunderbuss as well. This is actually a pretty nice one for killing bosses. One Blunderbuss does a lot of bonus damage, so that's a pretty nice find. And then we'll go to the next wave. Yeah, with 65 health, I'm feeling a lot more confident, so I'm pretty happy to have bought that Weird Ghost there. That gets us to... We'll hit like 70 or so, maybe a little less, by the end of the run. Depending on what items we find. So that puts us in much less danger from the bosses. And of course, we've got pretty good damage output, so we should kill them fairly quickly. This has ended up a pretty low economy run because we never found any additional harvesting early. We didn't get too many good economy items, no like bags or early coupons or anything like that. And of course, while XP gain is good, to pick up on this character because you need the weapon slots, it doesn't increase your stats because you're not getting stats from level ups. So it's not as powerful as it is on other characters most of the time. I guess I should say it's necessary, but not as powerful. Here I'm just going to take 3 range damage. So we've hit level 24, so we are now getting stats from levels instead of new weapon slots. And 3 range damage is going to help us just kill the bosses faster. 2 cursed weapons, that's great. Now, what of these do I want? So I'm probably selling out of... I'll probably just combine 2 ghost axes here and buy the cursed ghost scepter. And then... Are there 2 guns I can combine? I could combine these 2 scissors, but then to pick up the medical gun, but that wouldn't really help our weapon tags. I think I will... I definitely want to keep the ethereal weapon tag. We currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ethereal weapons, so I can't combine those. I definitely want to keep medieval, so I can't combine my quarterstaves. So I think it is the scissors that are going to be our combine here to buy the blunderbuss. And then we can pick up the medical gun as well. So now we're at 4 medical, or 5 medical, 6 gun, and we are also at 4 precise, which isn't bad. That's going to increase our crit chance, and we can use that to buy the giant belt as well. Only 8% crit chance, but 253 materials with 8% crit chance, and scissors have higher base crit chance, so do a few of our other weapons. I think is totally reasonable. The baby gecko at this point we don't care about, so let's just reroll and see if there's anything else we can buy that matters more. And here I'll take cursed scissors to upgrade our level 1 scissors, and we'll just reroll for fun. We could have kept upgrading scissors and bought more melee damage, stuff like that, but we're just going to go to the boss wave and see how quickly we can kill them with all of our weapons. So I got a dodge there. And you can see the Estes couch is making things a little more complex. Being this slow when you're moving around does make things harder. But we also have a lot of regeneration from it, so definitely could be worse. So I took that hit, but we had left the red chest on the ground for exactly that reason, so I could back off and get the full heal, and then finish off the other boss. And we made it. This was a bizarre run, but really fun. I really enjoyed this one. Let's look at our items. So our rat dealt 15k and our turret dealt 9k. Our lootworm for 250 materials. Pretty standard for an early lootworm, so it did fairly well, I think. Our fishhooks were actually pretty good this round. We went a couple waves without getting anything cursed, but they mostly performed as expected. We got 1 or 2 items cursed most waves that I locked stuff. Vigilante ring for 40% damage. This cursed metal was such a gift. This was one of the most important items that we found. The Estes couch I was pretty happy with. I could maybe have tried to curse it. No, we got it in a box, so I couldn't have tried to curse it. But it ended up being worth a decent amount of regeneration and gave us the healing that we needed. The triangles of power were very good. They increased our damage. The bottom line wasn't great. 8k damage is fine. And 10k from the giant belt in the last wave. That's basically like we bought a couple extra weapons, because you can see our weapons are doing about 1,000 for the melee weapons, a little bit more than that for the range, like 3,000. So the giant's belt is kind of like buying 3 or 4 extra weapons, which for 250 materials is pretty good. Alright, my friends, I hope that you enjoyed this really weird run with the baby. And of course, if you have, feel free to leave a comment and hit the like button. Helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, folks. I'll catch you next time.